you so much for being here for the Say Yes Guilford Virtual College Expo. I do know this was a very highly anticipated event, so we do just thank everyone who could be here despite the storm today. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Brandy for our welcome.
I guess it would be great to unmute myself. So thank you all again for joining. My name is Brandy Kennedy, and I serve as the Assistant Director of Student Outreach and Post-Secondary Access. And I thank not only our college partners, but also our students and families here on the line, just to learn more about these institutions, especially while there has not been a college fair this year just due to the pandemic. And there are some other members of our team here as well if they'd like to introduce themselves.
Oh, well, hi everybody, I'm Warshay Downing, Senior Director of Post-Secondary Success and Data for Say Yes Guilford. And Tammy is here as well. Tammy.
Yep. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tammy Alt. I started with Say Yes in August, and I am a navigator and project manager.
And I'll introduce myself with my official title. My name again is Alexis Moore. I serve as the Navigator and Projects Associate for High Point for Say Yes Guilford, and I as well just started in August.
So here's just a little bit about our mission at Say Yes Guilford. So Say Yes Guilford is here in Guilford County to provide access to support services and scholarships, not only to prepare students from GCS for college, but also just for a career in life. So again, thank you all for joining today and supporting that mission. And so we're going to go over a brief overview because, as I mentioned, our 8 partners here are a part of our Say Yes Guilford partnership. And so we wanted to briefly overview our scholarship model. The highlight is on them this evening, but we'll briefly review ours.
Okay, everyone. So before we get to the moment that everyone's been waiting for to hear from the colleges that we have present today, we do want to pose these questions to the students that we have here today. Warshay, if you'll drop the link in the chat. So the question we have for you today is, where are you in your college application process? Have you submitted one or more applications? And if you'll click on that link that's going to be in the chat, if you'll just let us know, and we'll give everyone a couple minutes to do that.
Could I ask a question? What?
Sure, what's your question?
Oh, um, I'm I'm just a bit confused as to what exactly this will be. Like, I
Yeah, so sure, I'll be happy to answer your
yeah.
questions. So we have representatives from some for 8 of our many partners, and these are many of our local options. But you're here today. If you saw the flyer and what you registered for was you're here today just to learn about these different admission requirements for this institution, but as well as just any updates that they may have specifically about how the application process may have changed specifically during COVID. So if that is of interest to you, you're welcome to stay on.
Okay. Well, there's one college in particular that I was hoping to learn more information about.
Okay, and if you have questions for them, if you'll ask them specifically at the end, we'll create some space for that.
Well, that's the problem. I actually have a class at 3:30.
Okay, well, sure. There's going to
So,
be a recording of this. This is being recorded, so you'll be able to view the contact information for these colleges or universities later at a later date on our Facebook. Okay. Or if you want to drop your email in the chat, we can send you the recording. But let's be respectful of everyone's time here.
yeah.
All right.
Actually, I think I'll just post the question I have because it's really more just about clarification than anything else.
Okay, and if you go ahead and post the question, I'll make sure that is referenced during our Q&A. And we, again, if you drop your email, I can send you the recording.
Okay, so thank you so much for everyone that participated in our poll. It looks like about 20 of you have submitted an application and just a few of you are still working towards completion. So I do just want to encourage everyone who has submitted, great job. And I want to say for those who are still working or haven't submitted yet, that deadlines are approaching. So we hope that you work hard towards finishing those applications. So thank you for participating in our poll. Okay, now for the moment everyone has been waiting for. Like Brandy said, we do have 8 of our partner schools here today to talk a little bit about their admissions process. I do want to remind everyone to please mute yourself during this section of the webinar. If you do have a question, we have some of our teammates who are going to be answering them in the chat. So if you want to drop them in, anything that we can't answer, we will save for the Q&A round of the webinar a little bit later. So first up, we do have Greensboro College.
Hi, everybody. My name is Krista Connolly, and I am really excited to be here and to start off the lightning round for us. I am an admissions counselor and also visit coordinator here at Greensboro College. I'm also a proud alumni and couldn't be more excited to be speaking with you all today about what makes Greensboro College unique. Greensboro College is a 4-year private liberal arts college located steps away from downtown Greensboro. When I say small, a lot of people are like, well, how small are we talking? GC is approximately 1,000 students with a student faculty ratio of 9:1 and an average class size of 12. So what does that really mean? Because you will hear a lot of numbers today. That means that you're receiving a very personalized education here at Greensboro College. This is where your professors and also your peers know your long-term goals and interests. This is a place where you lift each other up and support one another, and the ultimate goal is realizing your potential. Okay, next slide. Is it me or is it you? There we go. Here you go is we have over 50 majors and minors here at Greensboro College on your screen. We are just highlighting a few popular ones, and I like to shout out the sociology majors. Next. Okay, and this is obviously my favorite part, the admissions process. I'm just going to highlight a few things that people want to know. Obviously, are there deadlines here at Greensboro College? There aren't any. We are something that's called rolling admissions, which means essentially whenever you're ready, we're ready. You can apply today, which is great, or you can apply December, or you can apply in April. It's really whenever you're ready to make the plunge, we are ready to take that plunge with you. Next one, are there any average requirements for test scores or GPA? I dislike this question because I don't like to say that you're a number. We are looking at your application as a whole. So fill out your application in its entirety, the personal essay, the volunteer aspects, the student activities. But if you need an answer, because you're someone who needs an answer, I respect that. Follow the North Carolina benchmarks. If you fall below that, remember, fill out the application in its entirety, because we are going to look at everything, because we're looking at you as a person, everything. Okay, I just want to stress that. Don't be discouraged. Things to point out: free online application. Are we test optional? Yes. And then note the FAFSA code on the right-hand side. Just to go in there, if you haven't popped that, you've done your FAFSA, but you didn't put in our code, you can always slide back there, add it, and then resubmit. All right, next slide. And then I would be a horrible visit coordinator if I didn't plug our virtual open house on November 14th. You can go to the Greensboro College website, which is right there, click visit us, and then register. This is where you really get the nuts and bolts of who we are. So it's virtual 10 a.m. to 12:30, and just come on by and check us out, see who we are. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we have Guilford College.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Kyle Wooden. I'm the Director of Admission at Guilford College. I specifically work with our Greensboro students as well, so I'll be the one that reads your application, works with you through the scholarship process, the financial aid process, and really everything up until enrollment at Guilford College. So as you probably could have guessed from our name, we're located in Greensboro. One thing that makes us a little bit unique is we're a Quaker-founded institution. And really, we're entrenched in 7 core values. And the biggest core value at Guilford that you will notice the first day of classes is equality. We actually call all of our professors by their first names at Guilford, and all of our classes are discussion-based, right? So you come to class prepared, it's a conversation for 75 minutes. So if you're the type of student that wants to be able to ask questions and feel comfortable in that learning environment, that intimidation barrier between you and the professor is broken down at Guilford. And a big reason, and I'm a Guilford alum, a big reason why I still work here is I still have those really strong relationships with members in this close-knit community. Our average class size is about 14 students. As you can see from the slide, those are our largest majors, but one that's not on there is undecided. Undecided is our most commonly referenced major every single year. You're not going to be pushed to really decide on that major till midway through end of your sophomore year. We have a really beefed up advising structure here at Guilford where you're assigned a Guilford guide from the moment you commit to Guilford. And that Guilford guide, their sole responsibility is advising first year students throughout the entirety of their first year. You meet with them once a month to discuss class scheduling, choosing a major, roommate issues, whatever it may be. But that's someone that's put in your life from the get-go that really assists you throughout your Guilford journey over the first 12 months of college. Go to the next one. With the application process, similar to Greensboro, we're rolling right now. We're on the Common App, CFNC, and we have our own application, and we never charge an application fee. I think one thing about us that's very nice at this point, obviously we want to be accessible to you and be as accommodating as possible in these difficult times. So we'll accept unofficial documents to complete your application as long as we get those official documents before you enroll. So if you have an unofficial transcript, that can be emailed directly to me or another admission counselor here, and we'll complete your application file. We're always test optional, right? So the way I like to put it is if you don't feel like those test scores truly represent who you are as a student, there's no need to submit them to us. And I think one of the benefits of working with us and being a smaller institution is we want to work with you and help you maximize your scholarship throughout your admission process. 100% of our students that get accepted to Guilford get some sort of merit scholarship. And it's not just if you have a 3.5 and this certain test score, you automatically get this scholarship, right? There's a human element to it. So demonstrating an interest in Guilford and coming to our open houses and attending virtual sessions is incredibly important because when I'm reading your application, all that's flagged in your application. So I know that you want to be with us. So I'm going to do everything I can to take care of you in that application process. We don't have a lot of students that just go to class, go to their dorm room, and that's all they do every day, right? So we reward students based on those additional dynamics that they're going to bring to our campus at Guilford. We do have an in-person open house November 11th. There's 3 sessions throughout the day, and the sessions are capped so we can maintain social distancing and follow the guidelines. But I believe that's Veterans Day, so I think all of y'all will be off school. So we'd love to see you on campus.
All right, thanks so much, Kyle. We appreciate you being here. Now we have Guilford Tech Community College.
Hey everyone, my name's Mike Mackey, and I work for GTCC. Been here about 15 years, so I know a little bit about it, I guess. So today we have a few minutes, so what I'm going to do is just kind of go over some general information. One of the things that I want to point out to kind of start out with is North Carolina Community College in general are what's considered open door institutions. So what that means is it's completely different from the university setting. Most universities are selective for the most part, but the community colleges, like I said, are open door institutions. So what that means is there's no minimum requirements to be enrolled and selected into the college. The process is pretty streamlined, cut and dry. We don't have a minimum GPA. There's no standardized testings required. If you would like to submit ACT, SAT, or whatever the case may be, that's perfectly fine. We just typically don't use that as far as placement or entrance into the college. One of the things that we do use is high school GPA, and this is relatively new in the last 3 years for community colleges. We look at your high school GPA for placement in those gateway courses, which is college, English, and math. So just an example real quick, if you have a 2.8 unweighted or higher GPA, you go into all your college level stuff. So English, math, humanities, whatever. So you're straight out of the gate in the college level. If you hit that 2.2 to 2.79 area, you have what we call a transition course along with those gateway classes, which is kind of basically, just to keep it simple, is basically a 1-hour tutoring session a week for English and math. So you can still start college level. It's just you're going to have that little transition course with it. If you're below a 2.2, you have transition only, which is, some people consider that developmental, and then you kind of work your way up to college level. So again, there's no challenges or obstacles or anything. Once you apply, you're in there. You do have to be a high school graduate. That is one of the main requirements. Got to have your GED or adult high school diploma, one of those 3. So that's when we say minimum requirements. That's kind of what we're talking about. All right. We have 5 campuses in Guilford County to serve Guilford County students. So we're spread everywhere. The main campus is in Jamestown, which is where I am. And some of the main questions I get is like, what are your programs? Well, we have 80 different programs. Basically, I can split those into 2 categories. That's kind of what you see in front of you. It's what I call GTCC pathways. We have a college transfer path, and we have technical degree paths. So the technical degrees are your typical, if you want to go into automotive, do a 2-year degree. We have culinary, we have entertainment technology, construction. We have 5 or 6 different courses of engineering. Those technical, what some people call blue collar type degrees, is what those are referring to. Then you have your college transfer. If you want to be a student and transfer, so let's say, you may have like a 2.0 GPA or something like that. You can't get into a university, or maybe the university of choice, or plan A, B, or C, or whatever the case may be. So you can come to community college, take those college transfer classes, get your GPA up, and then transfer later on. And now, having said that, those transfer courses are really only guaranteed to a few in North Carolina. So the university system and community college system have what's called an articulation agreement. So if you go to a public institution, they're pretty much guaranteed a transfer. Now, we have some other articulations agreements as well with a couple of local private. So I just want to say, we have that information actually on our website, so go check that out. And then we also have some co-admission programs with UNCG, specifically called G Squared, and North Carolina A&T, specifically for mechanical engineering. So what those are, sort of a transfer, but you're taking Guilford Tech classes and you kind of sprinkle in some university classes, and so you're legitimately co-enrolled at both institutions. So it's different from just taking a standard transfer course. So those are the two different types of pathways. We are open. A lot of people think that we're closed for some reason. I don't know why, but most of our services are online. You can do anything online that you can just walking through the door. All of our campuses are open just like normal. You get a question, our hands-on classes are still taught hands-on, but what we're doing, we're just, making more sections so we can have fewer fewer students in those particular classrooms, for the, 6 foot distancing and all that stuff as well. So we are still doing hands-on transfer online. Most of our courses are online now. But you can do anything online as you can just walking through the door, just normal. And so that's the main thing that I wanted to get out there today. If there's anybody out there registering for the spring, our spring registration starts November 16th. If you're coming for the fall 21, our registration won't start till April. So you got a little bit of time to work with. Our application is free. It's go to CFNC, go to our website. Everything can be handled through those particular applications in a way. And one other thing, just to address RDS real quick, which is residency. Every single person on this this call right here will probably have to go through that. So if you have any questions, always utilize the residency people in Raleigh. There's contact information on there. Contact your admissions office, because sometimes that can be a little bit of an obstacle for students to navigate, and even parents sometimes. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mike. We really appreciate you being here. Now we have High Point University.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Sarah Schultz. I am the admissions counselor for High Point University. I am so glad you guys are here and safe from the storm. Very quickly, I want to focus on some of the things that makes High Point University unique. We are a private university in High Point, North Carolina. We focus on a 4-pillar academic success system. And so what that is that our educational model focuses on academic excellence, experiential learning, which is that hands-on learning, 4-year development of life skills, and modeling values and building character. We are a premier life skills university. And so what that means is we help prepare you starting your freshman year to have your resume done, to have the correct type of headshot for LinkedIn, to know the difference between business casual and business professional when you're having a steak dinner interview. We do have a steakhouse on campus. It's amazing. It's part of your meal plan, but it is a learning lab. If you could go on to the next slide, that would be great. Awesome. So our top 10 freshman majors, of course, this changes every year, but as you can see, undeclared is one of our top 10 majors. And so that's, of course, if you don't know what it is that you want to do, that's okay. We have a program specifically designed for you called Project Discovery, where our success coaches, which are our form of advisors, work with you, and they do a whole multi-step process and help you declare a major by the end of your sophomore year. And so it doesn't put you back at all. So if you're not sure what it is that you want to do, that's totally okay. We have programs for you. We are a liberal arts university, and so we have over 60 majors. And so you're really going to be able to find something that suits you. We have business, biology, as you can see here, our pre-pharmacy is really starting to grow. Interior design, High Point is the furniture capital of the world. And so you are going to have top-notch internship possibilities as well. Let's see here. Next slide, please. Awesome. So we do have some application deadlines. And so some of those that you need to know, if you are a senior, you should have already started your Common App application. We are only on the Common App. We are not on CFNC. So we are Common App, and you can apply 3 ways: early decision, early action or regular decision, you can see that that early decision deadline is this weekend. So early decision is a contract. That's a binding commitment. That's you saying, this is where I'm going no matter what. There are benefits that come with early decision that I can talk to you later about if you would like to get more information on that. We also have early action, which is the deadline is November 15th. That's non-binding. You would find out your decision by December 16th. And then we also have regular decision. Just super brief, but we're super excited to be here. We offer 5 Say Yes scholarships, along with 5 Say Yes choice scholarships, and 2 of those are specifically for High Point residents first generation. So we're really excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah, and we appreciate all of that great information. Next up, we have North Carolina A&T State University.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jalen Lawson. I'm your admission counselor at North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University. We are the #1 public HBCU in the nation. We have over 12,750 students on our university campus. For our top majors, we have biology, nursing, psychology, management, mechanical engineering, and criminal justice. We produce the most African Americans in the nation when it comes to our engineering majors as well. Also, we produce the most African Americans for our certified public accounting for CPA. For our deadlines, our early action was October 15th, but it is free application week. For that, you will have to apply on our website, ncat.edu, for free application week. It does end tomorrow. Make sure you click on money order or check for your payment. It's our responsibility to knock out that payment for you guys. So when you go on our website for free application week, and that last part, it will ask for payment, click on check or money order, and it gives about 7 to 10 business days to knock that out for you guys for A&T. We have 54 majors at A&T. Your average classroom size is 28. I know I said we are the largest HBCU in the nation, but your average classroom size is 28 students. Also want to keep in mind for students applying for engineering or nursing, they are particular criteria for those requirements. So for people who are applying for engineering, that's a 3.2 weighted GPA or higher, making sure you complete at least pre-calculus by the time you do graduate from high school. If you are in above math like AP Stats or Calc, that's totally fine. For students who are interested in nursing, they want a 3.3 GPA or higher if you're going to put down nursing on your application. You can apply up to 2 majors for A&T. So students will not be able to be admissible in their first major. We will look and see what is your second major when it comes to that. For our deadlines, like our deadlines, it's to June 1st of next year to apply for A&T for fall 2021. So you have up to June 1st. Just about 4 to 6 week turnaround time for the decision making. But it is homecoming week. We are participating virtually for our homecoming for our students and alumni. So like I said, Aggie Pride, if you have any questions, comments, or concern, please feel free to use our email, our UAdmit email address, our phone number. You could definitely ask to speak to Jalen. They could transfer the call to me. I'll be able to speak to you. And make sure you follow our social media of our Twitter and Instagram pages for more updates. And also on our website, we are doing virtual visits. So when it comes to requirements or a virtual tour of resident halls and campus, please make sure you sign up virtually on our undergrad admission page. Thank you so guys, and Aggie Pride.
Thank you, Jalen. We definitely hear that Aggie pride in your voice. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Okay, now we are moving on to UNC-Chapel Hill.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Patty Baum-Hayden. I'm one of the Senior Assistant Directors of Admissions here at UNC. I'm right here in Chapel Hill, down the road from many of you. I'm excited to be chatting with you today. I do want to share a brief overview of UNC and share a little bit more information about our community. The first thing I want to highlight is the fact that we are the oldest public university in the United States, and that's something that we're really proud of. We are here to serve the state of North Carolina and to really better and improve the lives of North Carolinians and of course the rest of the United States and people around the world. So what that means for you is that if you do decide to come to UNC, we know you're already a leader. You're going to be expected to be taking advantage of and using those wonderful talents and gifts that you have to make some sort of real difference in the world. I think that students who tend to thrive at Carolina are students who are really smart. They're students who really want to do something to make the world a better place. And they also know that they will only be as successful as the smart and talented people around them are. So students really care for one another. They lift one another up. And I think that you'll find that not just students, but faculty and staff really will care for you during your time at UNC. Our students, of course, are coming from all over the state. Across all 4 years, we have all 100 counties represented, all 50 states, many of the US territories, and across all 4 years, we have over 50 different countries represented in our student body. About 20% of our students will be the first in their families to graduate with a 4-year bachelor's degree. And if that's you, then that's wonderful. And I hope you feel really proud of the work you've done. Some of you may have parents who went to Carolina, and about 20% of our students had a parent who attended UNC. So we've got 5th generation Tar Heels on campus, and we have people who won't just be the first person in their immediate family, but the first person in their entire family to go to college, which is very exciting. We've got everything in between. Students, like I mentioned, are coming from all over the state. And something that we really love about our students is that they bring with them a wealth of information, of knowledge, of life experience. They bring with them lots of different interests. They bring with them different opinions. And that's really important. One of your jobs, if you decide to come to UNC, will be to share your perspectives and those life experiences with the other students around you. Your other main job will be to listen to others' experiences and others' perspectives on the world, because you can't go out and change the world if you don't understand the way the world works. And you're going to learn a lot about that from the other people who you're with at Carolina. To apply to Carolina, we do have 2 deadlines. The first is October 15th. That's already passed. So if you're a senior this year, you may have already applied, and thank you if you did. Otherwise, our regular decision deadline is January 15th. Typically, we do admit more students from our early action applicant pool. More students apply early, so it makes sense that more of them are going to come from the early pool. Also, more of our scholarship opportunities and Excel at Carolina opportunities are available to early action students. Not quite as many are available for regular decision students. We don't have any hard and fast rules about SAT or ACT scores and GPAs. In fact, we're not even really focusing on your GPA or your class rank when you apply. All of that is information that's an average of the raw data, meaning the courses you took and the grades you got in those classes. And we're far more interested in that raw data over the averages. GPAs can't tell me about how you're graded everything except for one subject area. A GPA can't tell me if you had a slower start in high school and you've really picked it up since. A GPA can't tell me about the time you or a family member got sick and you were out of school for a lot of times. So we're really instead going to look at whether or not you challenged yourself with whatever rigor you had available to you within reason. Of course, do not take every single AP course offered and on file nationwide. That's not the goal. And then we want to see, of course, that you've done well in those courses. We do have the 1-year SAT and ACT waiver this year. The UNC system has waived that requirement for all seniors applying this year. Otherwise, our middle 50% range, if any of you are juniors, sophomores, getting ready to apply in a future year when you do have to submit that score, our middle 50% range is between about 1,300 and 1,500. That means 25% of our students who are admitted are scoring above that and 25% are below. Frankly, I see your test score for about 2 seconds or so out of the 15-ish minutes that I'm spending reading your applications. So it's really not the driving factor in our admissions decision. When you come into Carolina, you're admitted into the general college. So you're not admitted into a particular major, a subject area. You've got 2 years to decide what it is you want to do. We do have over 70 different programs and majors across several different areas. So you've got a lot of flexibility and a lot of options. But you do have those first 2 years to figure out whether or not you would like to confirm an interest that you already have, or if you're undecided, to find the area that you're most interested in. At the end of the day, students tend to really engage with the university. They engage in study abroad, research. They engage with our student organizations. And most importantly, perhaps even more importantly, they engage with each other. So your education is really going to take place not just in the classroom, but with your peers in and out of the classroom. That's going to be a really big part of your time at UNC. So if you have any other specific questions about Carolina, of course, I'm happy to answer those at the end. Thank you so much for having me today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Patty. I'm a Carolina alum myself, so.
Very good. Yep, I knew your name. I recognized it.
Go Heels.
You got it.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you and your time.
Sure. Of course.
All right, now we have UNC-Greensboro.
There we go. Okay, sorry, a little technical issue there. My name is Alicia Duga. I'm the Associate Director for Undergraduate Admissions at UNC-Greensboro. I am here on our campus right now. We have students living in the residence halls, students going to class. Our students have done a great job with COVID and social distancing, and so about a third of our classes are in person and 2/3 are a hybrid. A few things I want you to know about UNCG. UNCG is one of the most diverse public state schools in North Carolina. So what does that look like? Even though you are from Guilford and you would be going to Greensboro, you are looking at a very diverse community. You are going to be in class and in activities and in residence halls with students from all over the country and all over the world. So when you're thinking about going to Greensboro, UNCG, think about a really diverse experience, a community that's supportive and engaging, a place where you can be yourself and be valued for that, a place where you're going to be able to study what you're passionate about and to be able to have that experiential learning that I know you all want. So what does that look like? It looks like as a freshman studying kinesiology, doing a week with a doctor here in town to be able to shadow that doctor and make sure that that's what you want to do. It looks like getting in the classroom during your first semester if you want to be an elementary school teacher. It looks like doing an internship with a business program or a business from France, and they're asking your class to put together a marketing plan for that company. So there are many different options for students. We have over 125 majors. One I haven't mentioned yet would be our College of Visual and Performing Arts. So that's music, art, dance, theater, and arts administration. We have an amazing program for musical theater, for acting, for performance. If you want to study music in general, that's a great opportunity as well. So who comes to UNCG? We have students in all kinds of different academic realms. Our average weighted GPA is about a 3.7, and that kind of scared me at first because I didn't have that coming out of high school as a GPA. And so I don't want you to think that that's going to be the one thing that we look at. We will look at your entire application. This year, just like UNC-Chapel Hill, we are waiving our test scores. So you do not need to have an ACT or SAT score for scholarships, our incredible nursing program, for our honors college, which is a phenomenal opportunity where our students live together, they travel abroad, and they take intentional classes that are small and discussion based, or for it being admitted to UNCG or for scholarships. So you didn't get a chance to take your SAT or ACT, don't worry about it. One thing I would like to tell you is to just turn in an essay. That essay is really important for us to get to know you. 3 reasons to choose UNC-Greensboro. One would be the opportunity to make great connections, to get hands-on learning, and to do undergraduate research. The impact that you are going to have in your community, in your families, in your city, and in the state that you live in is going to be tremendous. And excellence. Our faculty are here for you. They want to get to know you inside and outside the classroom. They're experts at what they do, but they also enjoy being with students, and that's an important piece. UNCG is also incredibly affordable, and that is something that I think every student and every parent is concerned about. So at UNCG, it's about $7,400 for 1 year. We have a great financial aid program. We have some scholarships that are available. And then of course the Say Yes program, we actively work with them in order to make sure that our students have as much support as possible. These are all important things to remember about UNCG. The other thing is that we can do some in-person tours. So if you are like me and you need to kind of put your feet down on a place and know if your heart is speaking to you about going to school there, then set up a time, come on a tour. We'll do very small groups, just you and 2 family members, and visit UNCG and figure out if being a Spartan and being part of the Spartan family is in your future. Our application deadline is a little bit later than some other places, so you may have heard that you missed a couple of deadlines. Don't worry about that. You've got December 1st as our first deadline. January 15th, you definitely want to have that FAFSA in before then, and then March 1st. So those are the times to apply for scholarships. Just get that essay in. And you are my people. So I have a very small group of schools I work with. Guilford County is where I call home. My kids are in Guilford County. And so if you need a contact and you want to get together, please reach out. Again, my name is Alicia, and I just so appreciate you being here this afternoon. Please stay safe as you are driving and going places with the trees down. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alicia. We appreciate your time and appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, and last but definitely not least, we have Wake Forest University.
Hey, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cesar Grisales, and so I'll let you kind of go through these quick points that are on the screen while I'm speaking. But basically, I wanted to introduce one of the things that I think makes Wake extremely unique when compared to other schools, and that's what we like to call the engaged liberal arts. So that's basically a pretty good summation of the curriculum that you'll receive at Wake Forest. We like to implore the liberal arts because we feel like it creates extremely well-rounded students. We know that when our students transition into the workforce, into the quote unquote real world, you're not just going to be drawing from one major, you're drawing from a combination of those experiences. And that's why we like to create students, again, who are comfortable and able to critically think about all the stimuli around them in their environment, not just in one specific area, but in all kind of the aspects of academics. Another really cool kind of portion of that is all of our students do not declare their major until the end of their sophomore year. So they have these 4 semesters to start to think about what they're doing. We have students combining really wacky things like physics, minoring in creative writing. It's really common for our students to double major, become a minor perhaps. And then you'll also see that's really common for our students to be involved with their professors, having these conversations, reaching out, thinking about research. And so hopefully my colleague Young-Soo will be able to share a little bit more about that as well.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Cesar, for passing on. My name is Young-Soo. I am a recent graduate, as well as a admissions counselor like myself, like Cesar, and I will talk a little bit about the student to faculty ratio, as well as some of the opportunities that you get to have here on campus. Our student to faculty ratio is at 11:1 right now, and our faculty members follow what we call the teacher scholar model. So essentially all of our faculty members will be active and pretty much consistent and have extensive presence on campus and research facilities during the academic work week, and really regular face-to-face availability to students and colleagues, whether you guys are visiting for office hours and whatnot, so they're readily available. We are also very much a research-based institution, and it's an integral part of our academic offering. So how do you actually land on a research or an internship opportunity? Well, students will be able to join in research opportunities starting from their freshman year, and really 100% of our professors will be involving students in their research groups and projects. And another opportunity is Office of Personal and Career Development. And it's a great example of how you'll be able to secure research opportunities by working with the career coach to really kind of tighten up your resume or your cover letter and maximize your chance of getting one, right? So now, Dawn, I'll pass it on to you to talk to us about some of the other distinctive qualities of what makes Wake Forest unique.
Thanks, Young-Soo and Cesar. So we're excited to be here. So our admissions office is a lot like a little family, and we like to get to know our students on a deeper level. I think the admissions process at Wake Forest is very much a preview to the experience that you will have at the university, that 4-year experience. You're going to find that Wake Forest, you will get this great education, but beyond that, you also are able to find your voice. You're able to be a change maker. You're able to instill positive change in the world around you. And so all of us, Cesar, Young-Soo, and I are alums of Wake Forest. And so we get really excited to share the university with prospective students, prospective deans and deacons, and talking about the education, but also the motto of Wake Forest, which is Pro Humanitate, so for humanity or on behalf of humanity. So basically seeing a need in the world around us, talking about what to do, and then taking action. And of course, action is the most important thing that you can do to make change, to bring about that positive change. And so Wake Forest will give you an education in all different aspects of who you are. We will support you, and we will also challenge you in many different ways. And you're going to be surrounded by people who are excited to make change, to bring about that change, and to grow alongside you. Our professors will also be part of that process. Let me also tell you a little bit about some different deadlines and details about the admissions process. And so with Wake Forest, we are an early decision school. Early decision means that you know that Wake Forest is your #1 choice. When applying, you are telling us that you will enroll if admitted. The deadline for early decision is November 15th, and we make decisions on a rolling basis. So as soon as your application is complete, we make a decision and notify you within about 6 to 8 weeks from that completion date. We also have early decision 2. The deadline for ED2 is January 1st. And so it is also a binding agreement with a 1 notification date. So we notify you of your admissions decision on February 15th. Now, if you are looking to apply to Wake Forest, but you like some other schools as well, you have some great schools to choose from right here in the session today, you can apply under regular decision. The deadline is also January 1st. Now, I tell you all these different deadlines, and I'm going to tell you to think about December 1st. So to erase that January 1st deadline, if you're looking at merit-based scholarships. So Wake Forest, we don't have a separate application for our merit-based scholarship, but basically you are using, or we're using your application for admission to evaluate you for all of our merit-based scholarships. So you are applying to Wake Forest by December 1st. So if you're applying early decision, you've taken care of that deadline because you've applied by November 15th. If you're applying either ED2 or regular decision, you'd be applying that December 1st date. One other thing to make note of is if you are talented in fine arts, so if you are talented in art, music, dance, theater, or debate, we actually have a nationally ranked debate team, which is an art form, then you are looking at our presidential scholarship, which the deadline for that, there is a separate application and then a portfolio piece that will come up in the middle of November as well. Basically, I also want to tell you a little bit about the evaluation process, and some things will be pretty standard across the board, but things that at Wake Forest are a little bit different in the sense that we have been test optional since 2008. It's important to us to understand who you are beyond numbers. Nobody is a number. And so for us, it's understanding you in the context of your community, your school community, and your community at large. And so you may submit your test scores for evaluation or not, and that's up to you. And it's been that way since 2008. We have a professor on campus, Dr. Joseph Suarez, who's done a lot of research and has found that there is a bias in standardized testing. So for us, we took a stand and took away that roadblock for students who were finding that bias. And so again, test optional. We also have shortened our supplements. So we do have a writing section to our application, a series of short answer questions and an essay. We have shortened the application, or shortened the number of those short answer questions, because we understand right now that you're under a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure. There's a lot going on around you. So we're meeting you where you are. We're still getting to know you. We're still understanding who you are. And basically that writing section is to get at your head and at your heart. So what are you thinking about? And what do you feel about what you're thinking? So that writing section is important to us. It's like an introduction to the admissions office. Let me also close by thinking about financial aid. And so Wake Forest pledges to meet 100% of demonstrated need. So never let the cost of a college deter you from applying and thinking about enrolling. And so turning in the CSS profile and the FAFSA in your tax documents will be really important. And also checking out the net price calculator. But really do your homework, investigate, be in touch with us. As you see here, Caesar, Young, Sue, and I are really interested and invested in who you are. We love to get to know you through this process and continue that relationship as you're a student at Wake Forest and also an alum. So enjoy this process, lean on us for any sort of advice that you may need, whether it's specific to Wake Forest or if it's general to the college process. We're here to help and we're here to support you. So thanks for being here today. Thanks for hosting us, and good luck to you in the process, and please reach out.
Great. Thank you so much, Caesar, Young-Soo, and Dawn. We really appreciate your time and appreciate you being here. I do want to mention for anyone who is interested in Wake Forest that's on this call, there is a QR code at the bottom right hand of the screen. If you use your camera to go to that QR code, it'll take you to the undergraduate inquiry form where you can fill out a little information about yourself and join their mailing list. So if you're interested in that, I'll give you a couple seconds to go ahead and get that QR code. All right, and for those that didn't have a chance, this presentation is being recorded, so you can definitely get it later. Okay, so with COVID-19, we know that is definitely impacting seniors and their ability to actually get on a campus to kind of see what it looks like and kind of make your choice and your decision from the visit. So we did want to offer this website, uvisit.com, and the QR code works the same. Use your camera to scan and go to the website. But they have tons of schools. I believe all 8 schools here today with us are present on that website. It's very real. It takes you on a virtual tour of the campus that you're interested in. And we're just hoping that that kind of supplements the inability to get to a campus physically. So for anyone who's unable to visit in person, this is a great option for you to kind of see the campus that you're interested in and hopefully make a further decision from there. And here we have some important dates and deadlines. If you remember, Greensboro College did not have a deadline. Guilford Tech has a rolling deadline. And then Wake Forest University is an early decision school. But I believe that priority deadline was actually December 1st. So definitely keep that in mind. We also wanted to remind you of some other dates and deadlines that are very important. So FAFSA priority deadlines are going to vary based on the school. You might want to take a look at the school's website or reach out to the admissions office or the financial aid office to be sure of their FAFSA priority deadline. With RDS, you definitely want to get that done as soon as possible. I'm sure that most applications will need your RDS number to make sure that you're an in-state student. So definitely take care of that when you have a chance. And also a reminder that the Say Yes Guilford Scholarship application deadline is on June 1st of next year. So definitely get those registration applications in. On the right side, we have a few upcoming national scholarships. Definitely look into those to see if you are eligible and reach out to anyone you need to help you with those scholarship applications and those essays. And now I'm going to turn it back over to my colleague, Brandy, to get us through the Q&A portion of our webinar.
Okay, sorry, I had to get permission to unmute myself. But alrighty, so thank you all. And so some of you all have asked questions in the chat throughout, and I know that you all may have very specific questions to an individual college. I guess we wanted to start out and provide the opportunity for anyone to drop any questions that they may have in the chat. And then if not, then I have a series of questions I can ask. If Christian is on the line, Christian, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you had a question, specifically Christian.
Yeah, I did have a question. I was wondering about GTCC, and I had asked about a specific program, but it really just in general terms, when do we apply? Like when do we need to, or when is it possible for us to apply? And like, what do we need to do for it, such as like where to go or what the requirements are? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I believe he did. I believe Mike is still here if you would like to answer that question. It looks like, Warshay, do you mind giving everyone the ability to unmute themselves? Everyone is having trouble unmuting.
All right, can you hear me now? Good.
Yes, thank you. Sorry
All right.
about that.
No, it's good. It happens. All right, so if you're applying for this coming fall, correct? Like fall 21?
Yes.
Okay. So the way we do it, and again, like community colleges are on kind of a different cycle. I'll just put it that way. So you can actually apply now. The fall application went up on the 16th. So you can do the application. So what we're doing right now, we're basically kind of putting the fall 21 applicants in a holding pattern because we're kind of right in the middle of spring registration for January. So we're right now we're giving priority to all the spring people, and then once we get through registration, and that's basically all the way through January 7th, we'll start working on the fall of 21. So you can apply and you'll get information from us saying like, hey, like you can set up accounts and all that type of stuff. And registration just won't begin until April. That's kind of our cycle. And then we have registration and orientation and all that stuff, through April all the way through the summer, leading up to like in that first week before classes start really. So it's a long process. You have plenty of time. If you go on our website, gtcc.edu, if you hover over admissions and aid, and there's actually an apply now link right in the middle of the page. Just click on that. And it basically, it kind of step by step takes you through the whole process. The first one's residency, because you got to do the residency first, because you got to have an RCN number to put in the application. So residency first, and then the college application from there. Don't have to worry about submitting transcripts right away. We don't really need them. You can wait till the middle of the spring semester, or quarter, or whatever you call it, to get that. And most of the time we download transcripts from, and really the most important thing on a transcript is that GPA I was talking about, how to place people. We download that from Department of Public Instruction anyway. So the main thing is just, getting the transcript, finalized, when you graduate. And the best way to do that is through CFNC, because it's free. And then we have an application called Cross Connect, where if you put it in CFNC, it takes us about 5 seconds to download that thing, and we put it in, and there you go. That's pretty much the process. You go through orientation, there's first advising and all that stuff too, but that's kind of later on down the road. Which we help you through the academic process at that point, mapping out your academic plan and all that good stuff.
Yeah. There's also another question that came to mind while you were talking. There's a specific program I'd like to apply for, the simulation and game design program. When it's time to like either in the application or the registration, do I specify in one of those the program I want to enroll in?
When you do the actual college application, there's actually a section on there about your education and a program of study, and then there'll be a drop-down box, and that has every single major that we have at GTCC. And then you'll see simulation and game design on there, and you just put that. And then once you put that on there and then submit the application, we kind of handle everything else from that point.
So
a lot of those classes are online.
So essentially, in a way, what you're saying is when I pick what program that I want to enroll in, most of the classes I register for are like set up already in.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yes. No, that's exactly what happens. Yep.
Christian, for the sake of time, we're going to transition. Mike, if you don't mind dropping your email so that you and Christian can connect one-on-ones to answer those specific questions out of respect for everyone's time here.
I apologize.
It's no problem. I just want to make sure everyone gets their question answered. Some of you all have, thank you, Patty, for answering that in the chat specific to UNC-Chapel Hill. Daria, I believe that you had a question. And this is specifically about the language major for ASL students. Do any of you, any of the colleges represented here can talk a little bit more about their offerings with that? All right, we have Patty saying that unfortunately UNC does not offer it. It looks like at High Point University, it's not a major, but it's our department. And UNCG, if you would like to expand upon your program, feel free.
Hi there, everybody. It's Alicia from UNCG. We absolutely do. It is through our education department. Definitely check it out. It's a great program and even has a master's degree with it. A few of our Spartan guides are actually involved in it. They do a semester at the end of their 4 years where they are in the process of serving the community in lots of different ways. So definitely check it out. It's a great opportunity, and it will be considered a foreign language if you come with credits from your high school.
Thank you, because I was wondering, because I'm taking ASL 1 now, my junior year, and I really just wanted to get more involved in that community, and being able to take that in college would be something that I was really looking forward to, but I couldn't, like, doing research, I wasn't able to really find many colleges in North Carolina that really had what I was looking for.
Check out UNCG. It's an amazing group of students, so it's a great community and wonderful professors. I think it's something that we really specialize in, so definitely check it out.
Thank you for answering that question. Continue to drop questions in the chat. This is just a general question, and some of you all touched on it, so thank you. But I'm wondering, as a student, many students are wondering, how has your application process changed in lieu of COVID? And are there any changes to the application process, such as requirements, and how will that impact students planning to enroll next fall? For any answers that you may have, obviously it's very uncertain right now.
I can start. At UNC-Chapel Hill, and just so everyone knows, for all of the UNC system schools, so all of the public institutions in the state of North Carolina, there is a 1-year testing waiver. So you do not need to submit an SAT score or an ACT score. We have to do whatever the UNC system says. That's why we've been requiring it all these years. The system tells us we have to require it, so we've been requiring it. This year, though, we do not. So if you're a senior applying this year, it's not required for admission. Every university is going to have a different way that they say that. I know at UNC specifically, if you have a score that you're really proud of that you want included with your application, you're more than welcome to self-report that to us. Otherwise, truly, there's no pressure and you don't need to submit a test score. I think that the other main thing that's changed for for UNC-Chapel Hill and for other schools out there that take the common application or the coalition application, there is a question on both of those applications, depending on which one you fill out, specifically related to how COVID has impacted you personally, your family, your life, your circumstances, so on and so forth. Now, I know that all of you have had to stay home. I know that many of you are not in school right now. I mean, you're virtually in school, but you're not physically at school. We've all had to quarantine. So if the way COVID has impacted your life is you've had to sit at home, and that's truly it, maybe you don't need to fill out that question. I've had to sit at home too. But if that's had a much more substantial impact on your family, maybe you're one of 4 or 5 kids, and it's really difficult to concentrate at home when you're doing virtual school. Maybe, and I hope, God forbid, this didn't happen, but if someone in your family had COVID and that impacted your family, please tell us about that if you feel comfortable sharing that. Maybe your family members or you are an essential worker, and that's put you on the front lines. It's put your family on the front lines. There could be financial barriers that you're facing, whatever they may be. I strongly encourage you to share as much as you feel comfortable sharing in your application about those things. The more you tell us, the more context we have to understand what you're doing and the environment that you're in. At least at UNC-Chapel Hill, those are the 2 main ways that the application has changed. Otherwise, the application is essentially the same. I see some other schools are putting more in the chat about this, and if anyone else has other things they want to say, I will mute now.
I think I'll piggyback off of Patty. I think one thing to note is that all of us are human, and we read your applications and we understand what is going on, because this is a worldwide pandemic, and we understand there's a lot of anxiety involved with this. There are a lot of things that were also canceled. And so a lot of times students are saying, well, I wasn't able to do this or carry through with the plans that I had. Will that impact an admissions decision? And for our schools, we're saying no, because we understand. We understand that things are canceled. We understand that you weren't able to do exactly what you wanted to do. We understand that classes went online. So there are a lot of details that we do understand. And we also want to meet you where you are. And so, as I mentioned before, cutting down the number of responses that you have to create with the application. So hopefully cutting down on the anxiety of filling out maybe 8 short answer questions and only having to do 4. And so understanding, again, and meeting you where you are, and understand there's a lot of anxiety, one, in this process, and then you add in what's going on in the world around you, not just a pandemic, but lots of other things. And so being understanding, and I think that's something that I want to reiterate, is that we're all very understanding, and want to know as much information as possible, but also understand the context of what you're dealing with right now.
Thank you. You all brought up a great point that we all are experiencing this as students, as workers, as you know, as family members, as parents. Everyone is experiencing the same thing. Christian, we'll have room for one more question in the end. I want to make sure we're answering all these questions. And you all may not know this question answer to this specifically. It may be necessarily for financial aid, but many families have experienced some financial difficulties during that time. And Patty, you've elaborated a little bit on how you can expand upon that in your essay. But what are the other ways that students can better report what their experience is, whether it's financially, or whatever the case may be, how it may have impacted, COVID may have impacted their learning during their senior or junior year. Do you all have any additional information to provide about that, specifically finances?
For High Point, I would like to just point out that we do have that section for the how did you, we section, and that is where you can kind of put anything that you feel like you need us to know, whether it be financial, whether it be personal, whether it be something that wasn't asked on the application specifically, but you feel like it would be an important aspect of your application, put it on there. I think Dawn had said this, but the more information, the better. We can only advocate for you when we have all the information. So please let us know your circumstances. Let us know how it's been affecting you, whether it be financially or emotionally or anything like that. And but at High Point, we do have that additional comment section where it's really, feel free to put anything that you feel would be very important for us to know about your application.
Thank you. And Christian, I believe you had one last question as we wrap up.
Yes, and this is more a general thing about applications. So I've sent in an application to 3 colleges, all within the past few weeks, so they're just early action, I'm guessing. I think. But in general, if you send applications to multiple colleges but only pick one of them, does that cause problems with the other colleges you've sent applications to and things like that? I'm seeing people shake their heads, so I'm guessing no.
Yeah, I'll answer it quick, and then everyone can chime in. I think it depends on specifically the institution. So I remember directly Wake Forest University had early action and High Point University, meaning if you applied by that date, then you are binding into that decision. However, regular and other deadlines, like after that, regular deadlines and rolling deadlines, when you apply, you're not saying I'm going to that college specifically. They sort of understand that you're sort of shopping, I would say, is a great analogy. But colleges would like to prepare, right, for the future, for the fall, for the spring. So they ask typically that you make that indication of which school you're going to be going to by May 1st so that they can better plan. But that may be different in lieu of COVID.
Yeah, that's the part that's concerning me, the binding part, because I believe the two applications for colleges in this state that I applied for, I checked early action. And from what I've heard, early action is a binding option, which means
Christian, let me just kind of help you here. Unfortunately, in higher ed, we like to make things difficult for everyone, and we all have different terminology. So one thing
I understand that.
Yeah, it's so early action at one school could be different from early action at another school. So you always just want to make sure that whatever specific school you apply to, you understand their verbiage. For at High Point, early decision is binding. That is binding. But at High Point, early action is not binding. So you really just need to kind of, whatever school it is you apply to, just make sure you understand their verbiage specifically for their university.
Yeah, I should probably go back and look at that stuff on the Common App or on the websites, because the two colleges I applied for were UNC Charlotte and NC State, and I don't know if they're, if the early action is binding or if it's.
Yeah, I would just encourage you to take a look at their personal sites or even try to connect with your individual admissions counselors. I know oftentimes regions or even like parts of the state have different counselors. So I would encourage you to reach out to them as well as just take a visit to their website to look at for terminology such as binding or non-binding. So I hope that helped you out. It looks like we have one more question. I don't want anyone, well, obviously we can't answer everything today, but it looks like we have one more question before we tell you all about some other upcoming events that Say Yes Guilford has. And that is, does any of the colleges here today offer aviation classes or specifically aeronautical engineering?
Hi, this is Jane Lawson from A&T. So we have a lot of students who actually intern and work for NASA. They major in mechanical engineering, and we do have that as a concentration when it comes to our aerospace. If any students might have an interest in aerospace, that will be falling under our mechanical engineering. And we do have a close relationship with students who work for NASA. And also we have two professors who actually used to work there as well, who are current professors at North Carolina A&T when it comes to that nature of it. So if you're definitely interested in the aerospace of that, you can definitely email me or contact North Carolina A&T and ask to speak to Jalen Lawson. I can definitely put you in that connection when it comes to our aerospace program under mechanical engineering at A&T.
Thank you so much for that, Jalen. Again, her name is Jalen, and you can either, do you mind dropping your email in the chat, Jalen, so that the student can contact you directly?
No problem.
Thank you. So I want to thank you all today. I know that there may still be some lingering questions, but I want to not only thank our partners, our 8 partners for being here today, but I also want to thank the students and families for logging in. And we also want to let you all know about some more upcoming events that Say Yes Guilford has. We have our line by line FAFSA walkthrough that will be November 12th, 6 to 7 p.m. for Say Yes Guilford. That is one of our requirements. So in order to be considered at these great partners that we have here today, you must do the FAFSA. So receive that one-on-one help. If you haven't started, tune in November 12th. You register at sayyesguilford.org/fall college series. And that is on November 12th. And lastly, we want you all to stay connected. We've given you a lot of information today. You may not remember it all. It may slip your mind as you move on to your next Zoom meeting or your Zoom class, and we get it. Here are the general admissions email. It won't get you specifically to the person that you're talking to. However, they can redirect you to the better person that best fits your needs. And so this is how you can get in contact with them. I believe that email will be the best form of contact right now, since many colleges and staff members are working remotely. So I would really encourage you to use that, because that's definitely going to be a skill that you're going to be using while you're in college, especially in this virtual world. So again, thank you all for tuning in today. And it looks like there was some clarification about the things that are offered, but feel free to look through the chat in case you had a question that you missed. And we want you all to stay connected with Say Yes Guilford. Stay connected not only with the institutions, but Say Yes Guilford. Not only do we provide our scholarships, but we also provide opportunities like this for you not only to hear about post-secondary access opportunities, but to begin applying and to take credit for yourself, your career, and your life. So thank you all again for tuning in today. And thank you all for having us.